Thank you. As you can see, this is my first honorary. Okay, let me just say that out front. So these guys are used to this. I am really amazed that I'm up here. All right. Now, I am not going to. Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm not going to try and give you any prescriptions for happiness or living a good life. You know, you will hopefully, well, you've been here. So you have the grounding, you have your family who got you here, and hopefully you're going to figure it out on your own. Instead, what I'd like to talk about, very briefly, because this is y'all's day, is about my experience here at Swarthmore. So when Mr. Eldredge called to tell me that I was being offered an honorary degree, I really did scream over the phone. Okay, so he says, we'd like to present, and I said, what? Oh, you are kidding. Oh my God, oh, I wish my mother was still here. Oh my God. And then at some point said something about, and this is Swarthmore, it's not Podunk U. Now, I stopped for a minute, and he took that break to say with some humor in his voice, so I guess that means you accept? Now, my reaction actually surprised me, because I had always thought of Swarthmore as something of an asterisk in terms of my work with SNCC, which for me was a movement that changed my life. But I realized only recently that Swarthmore was one of the main reasons I found that movement. For it was here at Swarthmore, when I entered in 1962 as a freshman, that I came to meet some of the leaders of the Students for a Democratic Society, SDS chapter, which, as President Kropp has mentioned, was called SPAC here on campus, the Swarthmore Political Action Committee. Now, understand that I went to that first meeting not because of any commitment on my part, but only because my mother was not there to stop me, okay? What I found, though, was a group of Swarthmore students who were involved in serious community organizing. As President Kropp has mentioned, on campus, and I was work study. So there was a dining room when I was here, you know, with these gorgeous wooden tables. And so on campus, they were working for better conditions for the all-black cafeteria staff. Because again, you didn't bus your own trays then. We brought it to you, you ate, and we took the trays away. So that's what we're doing on campus. Off campus, this SPAC group was organizing with the black community in Chester here to protest segregated facilities and a terrible school system. But it was through joining SPAC's bus trips to and going to jail in Cambridge, Maryland, on the eastern shore of Maryland, that my life really changed. It was here that I met strong African-American community leaders like Judy Richardson, no kin to me, and the young staff organizers of SNCC. And by the way, SNCC is the group that grows out of the 1960 student sit-ins that blossom all over the South. And what I found was that they were changing the world as I knew it, and I thought I died and gone to heaven. Now, our involvement in the demonstrations in Maryland was not heartily supported by Swarthmore students. In fact, our activity split this campus in two. My big sister, who had been so wonderful in showing me the ropes when I first arrived, she stopped speaking to me. Others wrote disparaging articles in the Phoenix. I'd even overheard one student commenting that, as he said, Negro students would do better for their race if they just focus on their studies and stop demonstrating. Another student said that restaurants had the right to deny service to anyone. I mean, they were, after all, the owners of those restaurants. And both of these were common opinions in the country at the time, South and North. But until recently, I dwelled only on the opposition here and forgotten that it was Swarthmore that had provided the space unhindered to the group that I'd been drawn to. Unknown to me at the time, Mimi Feingold, who was co-chair of SPAC, had recently returned from the 1961 Freedom Rides, where she had spent 6 weeks in the dreaded Parchman Prison in Mississippi. When I became active, it was Penny Patch, a returning Swarthmore sophomore, who came to my room to suggest I take off a semester to join SNCC staff as she had. She had just returned from being a staff organizer in SNCC's project in brutal Southwest Georgia. I took Penny's suggestion, and after assuring my mother that my full 4-year scholarship was secure, because this was really important, my mother had no money. She had sent my sister to Bennington and me here to Swarthmore. and also assuring her that it would only be for 6 months. I left to join the movement. And my 6 months became 3 years, who knew? Okay. But Swarthmore was the launching pad for so many of us because it provided a community which actually encouraged us to think about the world around us and about our place in it. What a concept. And it was a lesson that stayed with us. So Mimi continued her movement activism in Louisiana's brutal Plaquemine Parish. Carl Whitman, her co-chair, became a major leader in the gay rights movement. Penny took the healthcare route, became a registered nurse midwife, and continues to be active in anti-racism work in Vermont. And I worked in Georgia, Alabama, and Mississippi in the early 1960s. In fact, everything I've done since, including my documentary film work, has been influenced by the movement, by its humane values, its expectation that you would continue to work for social change in whatever way was available to you. It was in SNCC that I realized that brilliance can be found not only in those who are college educated, but also in amazing strategists, not just courageous, amazing strategists, like Mrs. Fannie Lou Hamer, a Mississippi sharecropper, or Mr. Amzie Moore, who nurtured and schooled SNCC organizers working in Mississippi. Now, people will tell you, and this really sounds hackneyed, find your passion, okay? Now, it may not pay the rent, but I am here to tell you that really is what keeps you going. And I was lucky enough to find it here at Swarthmore. My gateway to that movement, and to everyone, including my 3 close friends, SNCC comrades of almost, oh God, it's 50 years. I said 30 last night, and they said, no, 50. Okay, 50 years. Dottie, Betty, and Jean, and who are here, by the way, who came all the way. Said, hello, wave, hello. And they came here to support me. And so the gateway was to the people as well as to everything that came after it. And that gateway I found here at Swarthmore. So, though it took me a while to get to this, today I want to say thank you to Swarthmore. Not primarily for this honorary degree, which by the way is really, really cool, but more for providing the really vital and open environment that changed my life forever. So thank you, and good luck to you all. You look so wonderful out there. Thank you.